What if I told you that the billions stolen from the people are not hidden in distant hidden places, but behind the gleaming windows of Swiss banks? That real crime doesn't hide in black alleys. It stares at us from skyscraper windows, speaks the language of banks, and wields the weapon of silence. This story is not a myth. It is our reality. And right now, beneath the glossy alpine landscapes, the quiet theft of world history is taking place. If you're more interested in the truth about what is happening in Swiss banks than in fairy tales about chocolate and watches, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and leave a comment. Your support is not just a like, it is a voice against a system that hides global inequality. Today we will delve into the dark side of the Alpine banking system. From Nazi gold vaults to digital safes containing the money of modern dictators and criminals. You will learn how the global wealth concealment machine works and why it continues to exist despite international pressure. Part 1. Myths and Reality. Switzerland. Neutral, peaceful, wealthy. A country straight out of a postcard. Snow-capped mountains, crystal-clear lakes, and banking secrecy stricter than in any other country in the world. But did you know that behind this perfect facade lies the world's largest laundry for dirty money? That approximately $2.4 trillion, almost half of the planet's offshore wealth, is held in Swiss accounts. Let's be honest, the Swiss banking sector did not become so powerful because of the exceptional financial talents of its employees. It is based on secrecy and the refusal to ask questions. Part 2. The history of the issue. The roots of Swiss banking secrecy go back to 1934. Officially, it was explained as a way to protect German Jews from the Nazis. Noble, isn't it? But let's see what happened next. During World War II, Swiss vaults were filled with gold from the Reichsbank. Gold stolen from the Holocaust victims. Gold from occupied countries. According to the Berger Commission report, Swiss banks received Nazi gold worth about $1.7 billion at today's exchange rate. And after the war, thousands of families of Holocaust victims were unable to access the accounts of their deceased relatives. The banks demanded death certificates from concentration camps. It took 50 years of pressure and international scandals before Swiss banks agreed to pay $1.25 billion in compensation in 1998. A drop in the ocean compared to what was stolen. Part 3. The modern system. But that's history. What about today? Today the system has become more sophisticated. Opening an account in a Swiss bank is no problem for those who have millions. They come here. Politicians from Central Africa, dictators from Latin America, shadow oligarchs from Asia. Those who want to launder money are offered offshore companies, shell companies, transfers, and encrypted names. And so the money stolen from teachers, doctors, and engineers in their countries disappears into a system where no one asks any questions. Just think about it. According to Transparency International, up to $20 trillion has been hidden in offshore accounts over the past decade. A significant portion of that money passed through Switzerland. The scheme is simple and has been working for decades. A corrupt politician or oligarch takes money out of the country. The money goes through a network of offshore companies in the British Virgin Islands, the Cayman Islands, and Panama. Then the funds end up in Swiss bank accounts, where they are turned into legitimate investments. Swiss asset managers buy real estate, stocks, bonds, and art. And now the stolen billions are no longer just sitting in a safe. They are working, generating income, and most importantly, are completely legal. Part 4. Real-life cases. But nothing lasts forever, not even silence. In 2011, when the Arab Spring overthrew dictator Hosni Mubarak, it emerged that his family had around $700 million in Swiss bank accounts. Money stolen from people living on less than $2 a day. In 2014, the Ukrainian people took to the streets of Maidan. When Viktor Yanukovych fled the country, documents were found in his residence proving the existence of Swiss bank accounts worth more than $1 billion. In 2015, a journalist from the ICIJ and Le Monde revealed the Swiss Leaks database. More than $100 billion in HSBC accounts in Geneva belong to dictators, arms dealers, and corrupt officials from 200 countries. Belong to dictators, arms dealers, and corrupt officials from 200 countries.
Take a listen to that.
In 2022, a data leak from Credit Suisse, dubbed Suisse Secrets, revealed more than 18,000 clients' accounts with assets totaling more than $100 billion. Among the account holders are business magnates, political financiers, dictators, drug traffickers, intelligence chiefs, and war criminals. Have you heard about the president who stole more than $2 billion from his country during his 30 years in power? It was reported by the media and confirmed by international organizations, including the UN. But Swiss banks, they didn't see a problem. They saw a VIP client. Philippine dictator Ferdinand Marcos, Zimbabwean leader Robert Mugabe, Congolese president Mobutu, all of them kept billions stolen from their people in Swiss banks. The Panama Papers, the WikiLeaks investigation, UBS accounts, Julius Baer, secret Deutsche Bank archives, these are all pieces of the same puzzle. And sometimes they are deadly threats leading to the financing of wars, corruption, and poverty. And these are just the cases we know about. Part 5. Defense mechanisms. But how does this continue to work in the age of transparency? First, legal protection. Banks hire armies of lawyers. They exploit loopholes, drag out court cases, and sign non-disclosure agreements. Despite Switzerland's official renunciation of banking secrecy for tax purposes under pressure from the OECD, Article 47 of the Banking Act, which provides for criminal liability for the disclosure of client information, is still in force. Secondly, political protection. The Swiss economy is critically dependent on the banking sector. It accounts for 9% of the country's GDP and hundreds of thousands of jobs. What politician would dare to undermine the foundation of their own country's prosperity? Thirdly, global financial interdependence. Swiss banks are too integrated into the global financial system. They are too big to fail. Part 6. Countermeasures and Loopholes. After the global financial crisis of 2008 and the series of scandals, the world began to fight against offshore companies and banking secrecy. The FATF, Financial Action Task Force, the OECD, and the European Union introduced new transparency standards. Switzerland was forced to sign an agreement on automatic exchange of tax information with more than 100 countries. It would seem that the era of secrecy is over. But what about in practice? While ordinary entrepreneurs and investors have indeed faced greater transparency, truly wealthy and influential clients have found new loopholes. Trusts, charitable foundations, investment companies with complex ownership structures, fragmentation of capital into many small accounts, transfer of assets to other jurisdictions with subsequent return of cleaned funds. The methods change, but the essence remains the same. Capital rules the world. While its real owners, billions of deceived people, lose hope. And what happens when the truth finally comes to light? When journalists and whistleblowers risk their careers and lives to expose these schemes? Swiss banks pay fines. Huge sums by ordinary standards, but insignificant compared to the profits they make from serving such clients. Between 2008 and 2019, UBS, Credit Suisse, and Julius Baer were subject to criminal investigations in the US and Europe for tax evasion and money laundering. The fines amount to billions. What is the real price of these crimes? Not a single top manager ended up behind bars. Not one. In 2021, the FATF committee again recognized the lack of transparency in Swiss banks. According to Global Financial Integrity, around $50 billion is transferred from developing countries to Europe alone every year, often through these same banks. The end. Swiss bank vaults hold more than just gold and money. They hold stolen hospitals, unbuilt schools, destroyed infrastructure, thousands of failed small businesses, and millions of ruined lives. Every time you heard about poverty in underdeveloped countries, about corruption and economic crisis, think about this. Maybe the solution to the problem isn't where people are looking for help, but in the fancy offices on the shores of Lake Geneva. The system is changing slowly, too slowly. After all, those who should be changing the rules often benefit from their shortcomings. But change is possible. It starts with awareness of the problem, with the dissemination of information with demands for greater transparency. If you found this analysis compelling, if you believe that the truth must be heard, please like, subscribe, and share this video. Your click is a small action against a great injustice. And don't forget to leave a comment telling us what other financial secrets we should expose in future episodes. Because the truth, like the stolen billions, must not remain hidden.